Video được Việt hóa bởi Ngọc Tân từ group tài nguyên dựng phim. Nghiêm cấm các hành vi lít về rồi bán cho thằng khác. Mọi ý kiến đóng góp xin gửi về Facebook Quỳnh Ngọc Tân.
Let's take a look at how the cut page thinks about editing. This is a concept that I think is really helpful to understand when you put together an edit in the cut page. And that's just how the cut page treats the timeline and how it treats linked audio. Normally in the edit page, if you were to trim a clip like this, you could leave this gap. And that's just with the normal selection mode, not trim mode or anything like that. But if you were to do the same thing in trim mode, it would automatically take everything and move it down and kind of stick it here. So it would trim this video, but also move everything down all at once. And you can kind of choose which mode to use in the edit page. Well, the cut page is pretty much always in trim mode. It's actually kind of hard to make a gap like this in the cut page because it just really assumes that you don't ever want to have a gap in your video. And this is really great if you're putting something together really quickly, where you don't have time to trim this and select the empty space and move this down with all of those steps. You can just kind of automatically trim this and everything works great. Where this ends up being a little frustrating is when you have an edit where your audio and your video don't really line up like this, and you try and trim this piece right here. Sometimes it will do something weird, like it will move everything down and kind of cut off this audio right here, which wouldn't be such a big deal, except for most of the time, they don't really show you what's going on with the audio in the cut page. It just kind of looks like this. And so for certain situations, it can be very frustrating. And that's just kind of how the cut page works. It's really designed to line clips up one after another and trim both the audio and the video at the same time. Things work best when they're all on one track, because then you don't kind of have those weird problems where it's overwriting some of the audio. It's just a lot cleaner that way. So really what this works best for is taking a video clip from your media pool, previewing it, setting the ins and outs like you would, and then throwing that into the timeline, and then throwing the next one into the timeline like that. It's kind of the most basic version of editing, but it's just that streamlined. The other thing that happens with the cut page is if you want to move a clip around, let's say you want to do something like put a clip over something else like this. Well, you can totally do that. But what can sometimes happen is if you mouse over sort of the wrong part of this clip, it will replace it. And so you'll end up with, let's say if this clip is, we'll just turn this clip purple to make it a little easier to see. Sometimes what you'll do is you'll try and do something like this, or even put this purple clip in between these two blue clips. And what will actually happen is it'll overwrite that clip with the clip that you were holding. And so that's just something really to be aware of when you're editing in the cut page. Is the cut page doesn't like gaps, and it really tries to help you out by making it easy to do something like replace a clip or insert a clip in between two other ones. But if you're not used to it, it can kind of mess you up. So those are some things to keep in mind when we're editing in the cut page.